The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning to you here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Chris Burton, who is in for Alex this morning.
It is a race against time for Kern Medical management as a 3-day employee strike inches closer. It comes that the hospital is now accused of violating California open meeting laws. A newly filed lawsuit by SEIU Local 521, which represents Kern Medical employees, says there's no public meetings, no agendas posted 72 hours before meetings, and no transparency from the hospital.
Funds are coming from a public entity, so the lawsuit is being derived because there's not enough transparency.
Union reps say state law requires districts like the Kern County Hospital Authority, which oversees Kern Medical, to reveal how they spend tax funds. Employees are crying out for a lifeline as the quality of care at Kern Medical seems to dangle by a thread.
We don't want to strike, but we feel we're at a point in order to provide a high quality patient care that we have to.
That strike's set to begin next Tuesday.
The House will vote today on the Save Our Sequoias Act, a plan designed for protecting the historic giant trees. Congressman Kevin McCarthy took to the House floor yesterday, calling on the rest of Congress to support the amendment. The Save Our Sequoias Act would prioritize $5 million in National Park Service funds and $5 million in the U.S. Forest Service for efforts to reduce the risk of catastrophic fires killing the trees. With fires burning the trees at a staggering rate, McCarthy says the damage to the trees is concerning. The bill would allocate more than $300 million to protect the trees in the next 10 years and allow land managers to make emergency decisions to address threats as well.
Now to the coronavirus pandemic, and California is in the midst of a COVID-19 surge with the highest case numbers since the winter Omicron wave. According to the Department of Public Health, hospitalizations in the state have nearly tripled in the last 2 months. As cases continue to rise in California and across the U.S., the Biden administration has extended the country's public health emergency another 3 months. That extends through mid-October. The declaration allows services such as free COVID testing, treatments, and vaccines to continue. The CDC says nearly half of the U.S. population lives in a county with high COVID transmission levels. Well, let's take a look at those levels here in Kern County. It is no exception to those rising cases. Kern Public Health reporting another 1,342 new positive cases and 3 new deaths since Friday. State data currently shows we have 86 patients hospitalized with the virus. 14 are listed in intensive care units. And we are also nearing 2,500 deaths across the county since the start of the pandemic.
We're getting closer to primetime coverage of the January 6th Select Committee's last public hearing. The chair of the committee, Benny Thompson, has COVID, but committee members say the hearing will go on. As Steve Bannon appears in court again today, Bree Jackson has the latest from Washington.
The trial for former top Trump advisor Steve Bannon picks up again today after he denounced the January 6th committee and the case against him.
They're charging me with a crime. Have the guts and the courage to show up here and say exactly why it's a crime.
Charged with 2 counts of contempt of Congress, a federal prosecutor argues Bannon decided he was above the law, ignoring a subpoena.
The evidence of guilt is pretty strong.
The January 6th committee continues to build its case despite suffering a setback. The Secret Service failed to recover deleted text messages from around the time of the insurrection.
I'm confident, Lawrence, we'll get to the bottom of what happened.
The agency puts the blame on a pre-planned IT upgrade.
So the migration was planned well before January 2021.
January 16th, they were told to preserve everything, and within a week or two, they allowed it to be destroyed.
Hearings continue in prime time Thursday, where we expect to hear from 2 Trump White House officials. Both resigned in the wake of the attack, citing Trump's tweet saying Mike Pence didn't have courage as their breaking point.
I read that tweet and made a decision at that moment to resign.
The situation was already bad, and so it felt like he was pouring gasoline on the fire by tweeting that.
The committee argues Trump's words fueled the riot and will focus on the 3-hour gap between when the attack began and when he urged supporters to leave the Capitol. Although the Secret Service says it couldn't recover the deleted text messages, the agency has turned over thousands of documents and data to the January 6th committee. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for NBC News.
The time now 5:07, and for the first time since 2019, the largest comics and pop culture event in the United States, Comic-Con, returns to the San Diego Convention Center. Comic-Con will take place tomorrow through Sunday, attracting thousands of artists, celebrities, and fans of comic books, movie memorabilia, and all things related to pop culture. Organizers have now announced that face masks will be mandatory. Attendees will also need to show proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test taken within 72 hours. Organizers say they're expecting more than 125,000 people at the event.
And a sneak peek of the latest attraction added to the Universal Studios tour. It's the creepy Old West town featured in Jordan Peele's new thriller Nope. This is the original set of Jupiter's Claim from the movie. It was carefully disassembled after the film wrapped and then meticulously put back together with all of the original props. Nope opens in theaters everywhere Friday.
Your time now 5:08. The MLB All-Star Game had highs, lows, and loads of fun.
Our Taylor Schaub sat down with Bakersfield's own Corbin Burns at Dodger Stadium. An insider interview with the reigning Cy Young winner coming up.
And on the weather front, another hot day ahead for Kern County. We're kind of in this rut. We'll talk more about it next.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire. 17 News at Sunrise with Maddie Jansen, Alex Fisher, and Chief Weather Forecaster Kevin Charette.
Have you been in here yet since they put the new pedestals in?
These guys?
Yeah. The camera pedestals, yeah.
Yes, I have, but I haven't seen them
work.
Yeah. How have they been working?
Sounds like Maddie's peeing. Great, yeah, they're smooth.
Nice.
Aside from when I had to run to the monitor right now in first weather.
I feel like we're going to have a few of those.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a whole new thing, yeah. In the long run, though, well, I think it'll be great. This camera goes up like 10 feet.
Whoa. That's wild.
Yeah, just this one, this big one.
Yeah.
It rises all the way up to the lights.
Dang. That's pretty cool.
So eventually I think they want to do like for an open, start high and then come down. Yeah. Kind of cool.
I like that.
It's neat. It looks really good on the air, too. It's nice and smooth.
They moved this camera again.
That was me filling up my water bottle, FYI.
They moved that camera back. So I have to stand over here to even see it.
I dumped this whole thing on my kitchen floor this morning. I didn't put the lid on, and I picked it up. Welcome back here at 5:11. A reminder, you can take some time to cool off at one of Bakersfield's 9 spray parks during this heat wave. The parks are open Wednesdays through Sundays, 1 to 6 p.m. In light of California's drought, the parks are closed Mondays and Tuesdays for water conservation reasons, and that's a great way to cool off.
It really is. Now, you see them operating every summer, and it's a great way to, it's so much fun for the kids, too.
Oh, yeah.
You can also donate some school supplies through the Boys and Girls Club Back to School Drive. Drop off those supplies at the Armstrong Youth Center in East Bakersfield, the Stockdale Country Club in Southwest Bakersfield, or the Lamont Club near Lamont Elementary School, or donate online at bgclubsofkerncounty.org/school supplies. 17 News is your local election headquarters, and the Kern County Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to hold off on placing a competing initiative to term limits on the November ballot. This means We Are Kern County's initiative, keeping supervisors to a lifetime total of 8 years in office, will be the only term limit measure on the November ballot, and it will be up to Kern voters to choose yes or no. The group says they want to see new faces on the Board of Supervisors.
I put my name on the initiative for a reason, and it's because I believe that we do need change. We need people with new voices, new experiences.
Board Chairman Zach Scrivener says he's against term limits. Losing the experience of long-serving members has consequences.
When you lose that institutional knowledge of an elected official who's been there for a period of time, you're relying on the appointed bureaucrats rather than the elected officials who are there to represent the public.
Every supervisor on the board except for one has already served at least 2 terms in office.
The House passed a bill protecting marriage equality by providing federal protections for same-sex and interracial couples. Washington correspondent Basil John reports on the vote for this bill and what's next for Congress.
The bill is passed.
Tuesday, the House passed the Respect for Marriage Act to protect marriage equality, a move House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says is warranted.
Democrats work to protect and expand freedom in our country. Republicans seek to punish and control our most intimate personal decisions.
Democrats like Rhode Island Congressman David Cicilline pushed for this in light of the recent concurring opinion from Justice Clarence Thomas.
They've taken away the freedom to reproductive care. They've hinted at taking away contraception. Justice Thomas urged them to look at marriage equality.
This bill passed with bipartisan support, 47 Republicans joining every Democrat in the House. But some Republicans, like Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, saw the vote as unnecessary and thinks the focus should be on inflation.
The latest installment of the Democrats' campaign to delegitimize and attempt to intimidate the United States Supreme Court.
Cicilline criticized this thought process.
When you talk about inflation, all families are dealing with costs of fuel and food. But we don't need to layer on top of that another fear about the sanctity of your marriage.
United Way of Kern County will be hosting its 31st annual Professional Development Community Conference tomorrow. The conference will be held at the Bakersfield Marriott from 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. The conference opens the door for networking activities, sharing plans, and collaborating to better serve the community. General admission tickets are $100 and go up to $150 tomorrow. There will be 2 keynote speakers, 15 development workshops, and multiple exhibitor booths. Check back with us at noon right here on TV 17 as United Way's marketing manager Gabriel Adame will be live breaking down the importance of that conference.
And here is a bloody good deal. It's as simple as this. Save a few lives and get some free ice cream. Houchin Community Blood Bank is hosting a couple pint-for-pint blood drives. Those that donate a pint of blood get a redeemable coupon for a pint of ice cream. That's happening tomorrow at the Doors in Northwest Bakersfield from 2 to 7 o'clock in the heat of the day. Perfect timing. For more information about donating blood and making an appointment, visit our website, kget.com. So here's the thing. Comfy chairs, free AC, and then you get ice cream. And you're saving lives. So
It seems designed, in fact, for today or tomorrow's.
Yeah. 100%. It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
Head on down.
I love Doors.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.